Hey everybody, welcome to the Distracted Podcast.
We've already started off bad.
Do we need to start over?
No.
No. This is the Distracted Podcast where we literally started our first episode distracted. So I think there's no better way to intro ourselves than to come in laughing and confused.
Roll credits.
Exactly. This is the Distracted Podcast. So we are going to be going through the Disney animated feature films in order of their release, starting with Snow White that came out in 1937 and working our way chronologically all the way up until we get caught up, which right now would be Encanto that came out almost a year ago, but I'm sure by the time we get...
Encanto.
Actually, I think Turning Red came out after.
That's
Encanto.
Pixar.
Oh, that's right. Okay, cool.
I'm going to help y'all learn the difference between Walt Disney Animated and Pixar. You're going to learn. So we're going to work up until that, and there'll be some more...
Know.
Yeah, I know. By y'all, I meant Abby.
Look.
And hopefully my wife can learn through this too, because she has no idea the difference. So
I don't discriminate. I don't see Disney or Pixar. I see all of it.
Well, that's because Disney owns Pixar now. So, but we may do Pixar movies after this. We'll figure that out when the time comes. But I'm sure new movies will come out before we get to the end. But we'll just get caught up. So this is inspired by the Disorder podcast, which is a part of the Real Fans for Real Movies network. So don't come for me, Andy, Michael, and Hunter, because you inspired me, and I'm just doing this in my own way.
We love y'all.
We do. They're a wonderful podcast. So we're going to be taking the structure that they found that works and putting our own spin on it. We have a very different perspective. We are four siblings that grew up in the Disney Renaissance era, so we are a fair amount younger than those three guys. So we have a different perspective on a lot of the Disney animated
Our nostalgia
films
biases are a bit different.
Yes, and we grew up with most of the Disney animated films on VHS. There weren't too many that we didn't have. So we have a lot of nostalgia for a lot of them. So I think we'll bring a different perspective. We are also, copyright purposes, we are not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company in any way. This is just our own personal opinions. Let me put that out there. Yeah, we're really excited to go through this. We don't get to do a whole lot as siblings now that we're all old and grown up and stuff. So we're excited to do this. I'm excited to watch through these movies with y'all. And now I'm going to introduce my siblings. So the oldest of us, the goofy of the four of us, is Andrew. Say hi, Andrew.
Hello, everyone.
He's the oldest. He's cool. The second oldest of us is our Pluto, is Adam.
Okay, I need to know what is constituting these nicknames and how I ended up on Pluto. Because while I don't disagree, I'm insulted nonetheless.
No, Adam. Pluto is the most beloved of the Fab Five. And you can't be Goofy, because Andrew's Goofy. And I'll tell you why you can't be Mickey or Donald in a little bit.
I know you're Donald.
Yes, but if you were Mickey, you'll just... Let me finish. The youngest of us, our lovely little sister, she was originally going to be Clarabelle Cow, but then I decided to stick with just the main Fab Five, so she's Minnie, which is why you can't be Mickey, Adam, because then you would be her husband.
I have so many questions.
By default, you have to be Pluto.
I don't know if they're canonically married, sir.
Okay, well, they're at least dating in most of them. Start. Hey, we said we're distracted.
Concede.
There's going to be a lot of rabbit holes.
Yes. Okay, so Abby's Minnie.
Hello.
And down the rabbit holes. Lewis Carroll's down the rabbit holes. Alice in Wonderland. Continue.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
You're getting ahead of yourself. That's like movie number 9 or something. And then I am the third.
I'm going to go ahead and apologize if there's a bit of a delay on my end.
Yeah, no, so at the very least, Andrew is responding to me on time. Aaron, there's a little bit of a delay. So we're going to see how it works.
That's fine. That's fine. Technical workings on. I don't know if that's a grammatically correct phrase, but we're going to figure it out. This is the introduction episode for a reason. So I am the third of the four of us. I am the Donald Duck of the group because I have the biggest temper.
And you're quite controlling.
And I am quite controlling. I am your hopefully humble host. I'm Aaron. So,
and you never wear pants.
Okay. I told you not to say that.
We are opening some
I
secrets.
told you guys that in confidence.
So we are the Wilson kids. Good luck keeping track of us because our parents decided that all A's would be fun. So, yeah, we're really excited to go through this.
And we are also just very sorry.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed, we decided to go with the name Distracted because we're all very ADHD. So we tend to get distracted quite easily. So I think it's just pretty fitting. So anyways, now that I've...
jokes and...
It's okay, we can see you. That's all that matters.
Nobody else gets to understand what we understand. So if each of y'all just feel like giving a quick intro of yourself, you can. If you don't want to, that's fine. I was just trying to fill out some time in my notes. You don't have to, but like, I'm just going to go ahead and let the listeners know I'm a very optimistic person.
Cool with me starting.
Do we include our favorite Disney movie?
You can, yeah. I guess I'll start just since I already did. I'm a very optimistic person. I am very much glass half full when it comes to movies and film and media. I always try to find positivity in movies just because I don't like to be negative about movies unless they're just totally objectively bad. Like if the entirety of the world thinks it's bad, I'm not going to find a positive thing about it. But I try to be pretty optimistic. I'm a super mega Disney nerd. I don't have a whole lot of Disney history and stuff. If you listen to Disorder, you know that they bring a lot of history and background to a lot of the movies and voice actors and animators and stuff. I don't know all of that. I don't have the experience of life that they do. I just love Disney and know a lot about it. But I'm a fairly big nerd. My favorite Disney movie ever is Winnie the Pooh. Anything that has to do with Winnie the Pooh. He's always been very close to my heart. He's a nostalgic character for our family. Abby, the video's not being recorded. I'm sorry. Distracted once again. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I'm fun. Andrew, give us an intro on yourself.
Okay, on the spot.
You're welcome.
Well,
go.
I was born. No. I like Aaron said, I grew up on Disney like from the moment I was born. Basically, our parents raised us on Disney because Disney's awesome. And I've loved Disney my whole life, and it's one of those things that no matter what you're going through, you can find a Disney movie to comfort you and help you get through stuff. That's the beauty of Disney, I think. So it's just always been a big part of my life, and I'm just happy to be here with you three and get to have some fun and make some laughs. And my favorite Disney movie is Robin Hood because I watched that on repeat as a child, and it's the best version of Robin Hood pretty much ever been made. So there's that as well.
Yes, I think that's an objective truth. That Disney has created the best version of Robin Hood. Abby, tell us about yourself as the only girl.
Yeah. I don't think we can really repeat anymore that we all grew up on Disney and that kind of stuff. I personally have always loved movies because I just like getting lost in the story. I like just being kind of enveloped in the movie and nothing else matters in that moment. It's just, you're just in the plot, in the storyline, you are there with the characters, and it's really awesome. It's kind of like just taking a break from reality and getting to experience this really cool adventure and just go on all the ups and downs that the characters do.
Some might say you're getting distracted from life.
That's going to get really old.
It's okay. We'll get all of the jokes out now in the intro episode, so they'll be old by the next time we record.
Eventually, I'm going to start just making a counter on how many times that joke's used, and just have it, just have a tally going on.
We should have a scoreboard. But yeah, my favorite Disney movie actually is not one that I really grew up with. Mulan. I didn't really watch Mulan as much until I got older. I don't know why, but I just remember after watching it when I could actually understand what was happening, I just thought this is incredible, and I've loved it ever since. So, yeah, that's me.
Awesome.
I don't think we owned Mulan when we
That's
were...
probably
we did
why.
not. That was one of
why.
It's one of the few movies we did not own on VHS and /or DVD.
Okay, that's the reason.
Adam.
I am going to be the definitely most controversial out of all of us. I am by far the biggest film critic. I used to definitely just be like, it entertained me, cool, we're good. But especially around college, I started watching a lot of movie review things, usually on the more cynical side, and seeing why certain movies were bad. And then I have a lot of friends that are much more critical of films, so through them I see more now. And so I'm by far going to be either everyone's least favorite or favorite. There will be zero in between.
Yeah.
Just because... And I definitely do like Disney because overall they typically do have good films. But I definitely think Disney can be kind of up their own butt sometimes, where they're like, they think they are the bee's knees, so they just pump out something and it's clear that there was no actual love put into it. And then you look at something like
that,
one of the
my
Disney
friends,
Renaissance and
Sorry, I was going to say that, my friends, is what we call the dark age of Disney.
It's going to happen a lot. Yeah. But I don't consider myself to have a favorite Disney film. I was forced to pick one, so I picked Hercules. Because it's definitely up there for me. But, yeah.
I thought you picked Lilo and Stitch.
No, I said between one of them, and then Aaron made me pick between. He said I had to pick, so I picked Hercules. Even though he immediately then went, anything with Winnie the Pooh, and completely copped out.
Well, Hercules was also one of those movies that we didn't have on hand, and so.
Mm-hmm.
I also picked Hercules for you, Adam, because I thought Abby was going to pick Lilo and Stitch, and I didn't want overlapping, because I was trying to do our concept art, and I didn't want two of our movies to be Lilo and Stitch.
What's funny is Mulan is actually one of my tops as well, and so when she said Mulan, I'm like, I'm glad I didn't throw that one into the ring.
For me, I couldn't decide between Mulan, Tangled, or Lilo and Stitch, because I have tons of fond memories of Tangled, because that's the one I think I grew up on the most. I would just watch it on repeat along with Pocahontas and, and those movies.
Oh my gosh, you would. Tangled is in the era of Disney that I really don't care for, where it's like, I think a lot of it's kind of very either paint by numbers or incredibly predictable. Tangled is amazing. I will not trash talk Tangled. It is so good.
Hey, at least
Abby,
I didn't grow up on Frozen where it was on repeat.
Sleeping Beauty too.
Well, yes, but whenever I was obsessed with Sleeping Beauty, I didn't really understand it. Because that's when I was really little, and all I remember were just certain scenes, certain images, and certain sounds. And then whenever I would go back and watch it as an adult, now I appreciate it a lot more because the nostalgia is laced in the entirety of that movie. So,
hey, save it for when we get to Sleeping Beauty.
Fine.
No, Abby went through a lot of phases growing up.
Can I actually ask a roundtable question?
Go for it, yeah.
So, I don't know if this is on your plan or script or whatever, but I want to ask, in the same order we introduced ourselves, what movies are you most looking forward to and least looking forward to?
That was actually one of my questions I had written down. So you just beat me to it.
I'm sorry. I'm just too good.
No, that's okay.
You're welcome.
I already forgot how we introduced ourselves.
I already forgot half of this podcast.
I'll just go first.
Aaron, Andrew, Abby, Adam.
You're right. Okay, so that would be me starting. If you didn't pick up on it before, I'm probably most excited to talk about Winnie the Pooh. Not to talk about it, but just to watch it again, because I love Winnie the Pooh. He is so precious and charming, and I cannot wait to talk for like a full 5 hours of a podcast with y'all about him, because he deserves like a 24-hour-long podcast. He's just perfect. I'm just really excited about it. I'm also excited about Tangled, though, because I fell in love with Tangled very quickly when Abby would watch it on repeat. Mm-hmm. I think there's a tie of two movies that I'm least excited to watch because I know it's going to be hard for me to get through, and those are Home on the Range and Chicken Little. Because those are just... I know that I didn't hate them when I watched them as a kid, but like, I know now I'm going to be like, it's just going to be so much cringe. It's just going to be difficult. But that's also not even regarding
Chicken Little when it first came out, especially like I watched it in theaters. And I'm like, this was amazing. And I held it in high regard until I watched a movie reviewer destroy it. And I'm like, it wasn't that bad. And then I started watching clips of it. And I'm like, oh, no, it's horrible.
But those are the two I'd say I'm least looking forward to. And that's excluding the entire 10-year period where all Disney did was package films in the 40s. So we're not even talking about all those. Those are going to be a whole situation in and of themselves that we'll get to, but yeah, that would be me. So
what are package films?
Do you remember on some of our VHSs when you would see commercials for The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad?
Oh, where it was like 4 films in one?
Yeah, those are package films. It's a bunch of shorts put together in one film. So like Fun and Fancy Free is one of them. It's got Mickey and the Beanstalk is a part of one of those package films. So it's like that, where it's that and then a couple other shorts that are all packaged together.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into that, and I know the history of those and why they did that. So it's not that those were intentionally terrible. It was Disney was doing all they could to save money, but we'll get to that whenever we get to our first one, which is only movie number 6. So that won't take long to get there. Yeah, so that's me, Andrew.
Well, obviously, I'm most looking forward to Robin Hood, like hands down. Like but I'm going to backtrack for a second here. I love how Abby and Adam were both like, I'm not sure. I guess if I had to pick one, I'd pick this one, but I don't know if I have a favorite. And me and Aaron are both immediately this one. That's my favorite.
0 questions.
But yeah, definitely most looking forward to Robin Hood, and I think probably Lion King. Lion King was a big childhood one for me as well. Least looking forward to. I think I might have to agree with you, Aaron, about Home on the Range and Chicken Little. Either those or the package ones from the 40s, because those are not good either. Some of them.
Yeah. There's parts of them that aren't bad.
I think those are the ones. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think those would have to be my picks for my least favorites.
Sweet. Abby?
To be honest, I am really looking forward to talking about Atlantis and Treasure Planet because just of how underrated or untalked about they are and how incredible they are and how much we get to unpack with that.
Oh, they're so
because
good.
they're really good and not many people know about it. Well, maybe more than I think, but still, they're incredible movies.
No, a lot of people
excited.
didn't like them because they were flops in the box office. So
well, the box office.
They're definitely underappreciated.
I'll get into why At Least Treasure Planet was a flop when we actually get to that episode, but it's not necessarily because it was bad or people didn't like it.
No, yeah, there's a lot that goes into its failure. So.
Yeah. Least looking forward to, I don't know, probably ones like, not saying that it's a bad movie, like I enjoy it, but probably like Fantasia, because that's going to be really difficult to just talk about.
Yeah.
Like plot wise, you know.
Now, for me, Fantasia is a dream. So I am an artist. I graduated with a degree in art. So like looking at Fantasia is literally just a film that is the animators showing off just how much they can do with a pencil and paper. And so like to me, seeing like, oh my gosh, look at how much they did in 1940.
School and
you did.
And I am currently in art school.
No actual story. So like
3 of the 4 of us are artists in some form or another, but we all have very different perspectives on art. So I think that'll be fun too, just going through the movies, because we get to look at the different stages and generations of animation from very different perspectives as artists. So for me, Fantasia is just so beautiful. It's just such a cool tribute. And Andrew is quite literally a pirate for his job. So I personally like Fantasia, but I don't expect a lot of people to like it. But we're not going to get onto that. Adam, go ahead.
So I definitely I'm kind of on the board with Abby with specifically Treasure Planet and Atlantis. I don't remember Atlantis very well. Treasure Planet I still watch the crap out of all the time, and I love that movie. But Atlantis, like, I remember liking it, but never really going back to it. So I'm like, I am excited for that. And then something like Beauty and the Beast, or like a couple of the older ones that I'm like, I never really gave a fair shake when I was a kid because there wasn't action, so I didn't care. And I'm like, I do want to be able to watch those as like films now and see what I think. I'm gonna hot take off the bat. I am one of the ones I am least looking forward to is Snow White, because I think it's not good, and kind of in the same vein of Abby with it, nothing to talk about. It's boring. It's so basic. So first one off the bat, Adam is going to be digging into. I'm going to go ahead and prepare everyone for that.
I do agree with you on the fact that Snow White was it was difficult to get into, but I do try to give it some grace considering when was it made again?
1937.
1930s. So yeah.
Give it a little grace, Adam.
Yeah, I'm giving nobody any grace. I am basing them all on my opinions and things today. Like I will things like graphics and animation techniques that gets a pass. That they couldn't do anything about that. Storytelling, okay. You can do whatever. I don't care.
Here we will
don't get me into it.
We will talk about this when we get into Snow White.
You will have to hear me defend the honor of Disney's beginnings.
You asked me to do this. I want to remind you. You asked me to this. You knew what this was.
You're the one that brought up.
This is amazing.
I do want to say one thing I'm really looking forward to with this podcast, like outside of the actual podcast, I'm excited to go back and watch these movies that maybe I've only seen once, or some that I've never seen before. Like I've never seen The Great Mouse Detective. I've never seen the Rescuers Down Under, or like Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Like I've never seen those movies. And so it's really excited to have some first experiences.
Yes.
And just reliving it too.
There's a lot of those movies that are in what's considered Disney's Dark Age, which I believe goes from whichever movie came right after Robin Hood all the way up to like Oliver and Company. So it's Aristocats, The Rescuers, Fox and the Hound, Great Mouse Detective, Black Cauldron, Oliver and Company. A lot of those that were just kind of forgotten and slipped through the cracks, and a lot of people don't really care for or appreciate. That I have a lot of fondness for a lot of those, so I'm personally so excited to go back through those and get to talk about my positive and exciting opinion on those movies, because a lot of people don't really care for those, and I'm not one of those people. So I'm excited to share my love for those movies for the few people that their favorite movie is The Black Cauldron.
Very curious if I will be one of those or not.
You probably won't. Me and Adam tend to butt heads the most of the 4 of us when it comes to the media. anytime a new Marvel or Star Wars movie or anything like that comes out,
I was about to say, if we were talking about Marvel, this game would be done. Like, we could not do this.
No, this podcast wouldn't be in existence if this was Marvel, because me and Adam, our opinions are always like polar opposites on every Marvel and Star Wars movie that we watch. It's like we cannot see eye to eye. Luckily, Disney's typically it's a good medium, so we shouldn't have too many butting heads.
I, for one, am going through the Marvel movies right now, and I love every single one that I've watched.
They're so good,
not
but
been one that I don't like.
Don't get Adam on a tangent. So, okay.
Me and Andrew are just here. We're just enjoying the ride.
That's like Thor: Dark World.
And I actually did. I enjoyed it.
Stop! I'm cutting you off. We're not getting into this. This is terrible. This is a Disney animated film feature.
It wasn't as good comparatively to the other Thor movies, but in a movie in itself, by itself, just Thor: Dark World, it wasn't terrible.
Hey everybody! Thanks for joining us on this intro episode where we get to look into what the future of this podcast is going to be like. We are very, very excited to watch through all of the Disney animated feature films together. And we're so excited to watch through the 60, and by the time this is over, it'll probably be like 78 animated movies, because right now there's only 60. But we're really excited to start into this. Hopefully all of you listening enjoy this. All the normal stuff that media influencers say, subscribe, leave a review, I don't know, all that stuff. This is the intro episode, so there's not much to listen to so far.
We'll figure it out.
If you're here from the beginning. But
give
as
us
we
5
will...
stars.
Huh?
You cut out.
I just totally lost you.
Oh,
yeah, do that too.
I heard give a star.
Yeah, it totally broke up. But hey, like I said at the beginning, it's an intro episode. We're using this to fix technology, so it's all good. As we will say it always, try not to get too distracted. We probably will. So, all right, catch y'all next time. Don't forget to watch Snow White. That's your homework, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.